Welcome to another episode of Coach's Corner. Today we are excited to have Coach Damon Page, head football coach of the Slidell Tigers. Coach, welcome to the show. Really glad to have you. I realize now that we're less than 6 hours from kickoff tonight,
Yeah,
so really appreciate you coming on late in the game. But I know you'd be like anybody else if you weren't ready by now, you wouldn't be ready anyway, right?
yeah, hey, man. Like they say, man, the hay is in the barn. We just
That's
gotta
it.
go play.
That's it.
Just gotta go play. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Look, before we get into tonight's matchup a little bit, I just kind of want to talk about the season a little bit. I think I'm really excited about tonight. One thing that I keep telling myself is I can't believe somebody's going to be 4-4 after tonight because I think very highly of both teams. I think both coaches have done a really good job, and I kind of see you guys as a mirror image. But kind of coming into tonight, outside of last week's game, and I don't think it was a lopsided game. I think things just didn't go your way. But you guys have had a lot of success on both sides of the ball. Tell me a little bit about your season, where you're at right now, and kind of how you feel going into tonight.
I mean, it's our first district matchup, man. Coming off Covington, uh, I feel good. I mean, we got the same group of kids, man. It's not like we changed anything or lost anybody. I feel good about it. I agree with you. I think we are, pretty evenly matched up when you talk about players. Um, but like I said, man, first district game, rivalry game. Uh, Everything's gonna take care of itself. Senior night. I mean, we got it's loaded. It's loaded. So,
It,
but I
it's
am excited, man. I am excited about it. I think we made some changes. Especially from last week. Just laying the egg offensively. Um, so I'm excited to see some of those things come to play tonight.
No, that's great. We talk about that a lot, right? Is it who you were in a moment, or is that who you are? I think you guys have enough legwork that you've done this season to really understand who you are. And I think last week's a bit of an anomaly. I think Coach Bonifans does a phenomenal job of play call, and you've got some guys that can really make some plays. Previewing that game a little bit. We go into this. Um, you guys are in my mind kind of mirror images of each other, right? Between you and Salmon. I think you both have really good quarterbacks that can run it. You both have running backs that can control the running game, and you both have really talented wide receivers on the outside that can make plays. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about your defense and kind of what you're looking like tonight to defend that Salmon offense, who's right now averaging 35 points a game.
Nah, man, just sound ball. That's been something that we've been harping on. I mean, since the beginning of the season, and you watch the games and we make tackles. Those games are different. Not necessarily saying that we win them, but the games are different if we just make tackles. So we've been harping on fundamentals, man, making sure we're aligned correctly, making sure we're communicating. Pre snap, post snap, and getting to the football. That's been the biggest thing for us. Don't give up the big plays. Limit the mistakes, the mental errors, and force the offense to be legitimate. We don't want it with no freebies. If you're going to score on us, if you're going to beat us down the field, or however you're going to try to do it, then you have to legit earn that. And that's been the message. No freebies, man. No nothing cheap. So just sound, align, keep everything in front, and tackle the football.
No, that's good. I mean, that's the approach, right? Easier said than done, but I think you guys have done a really good job, and your kids kind of buying into what you guys do, and I think that's a testament to you guys as an entire staff. Offensively, coach, I think of two games this season, and they were two completely different. Uh, the result didn't matter to me; it was the process of the game and how it went. But I think of Warren Easton, and I think of Mandeville. Warren
Yep.
Easton, you guys threw the ball a lot. You threw it for a lot of yardage. You scored quick. You gave them the ball back. They went and scored. Your defense was exhausted. And then I think of the Mandeville game where I think that game Jaquan might have had like 30 carries, right? And you guys ran the ball. You controlled it a little bit. You gave your defense a break. Is that kind of a thought process in what you guys are doing offensively now to help you out on defense a little bit?
For the Mandeville game, yes. The Mandeville game, we specifically, wanted to keep the defense off the field after the Easton game. That was intentional. Versus Covington, or I should say, versus even Found Blue. Versus Found Blue, it was a mixture. Like I don't think we were playing extremely well offensively. The defense, did a pretty good job outside of the 7 points in the first half. But we weren't necessarily clicking on offense. So it kind of just happened that way. Um, Going into tonight or going into the Covington game, we knew that they can score. Um, Defensively, we felt good about playing. I mean, I thought we did a pretty good job of playing defense. We just didn't score. And I think that changed the game, gave them a few more extra possessions than we wanted them to have. It allowed them to call play calls that, I mean, it's an easier game when, the offense isn't forcing them to score points. So, but yes, we do talk about the approach of the game, and if we want to, slow it down, if we want to speed it up with the tempo, we want to do a mixture of those things. It just depends on how we feel. I think we match up well, and I try not to disrupt the rhythm of the offense. Like so.
Yeah.
We talk about it, especially in game too. Like, hey, we can slow it down here, run the clock a little bit, just eat it. But if it's flowing, then we want it to flow. We
Right.
don't want to dam it up,
Right.
uh, overthinking.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And kind of sticking to the offensive part, we had pull up the standings here for kind of some area stat leaders, and Ricky's number 2, and Dejan over at Salmon is number 3. Is pretty similar. When I look at the receiving stuff, you got Carlos and Jeremiah is 3 and 4, and Rayshawn and Terrence are 5 and 6, and then on the rushing side, Jimmy Chansey is down there. Jaquan's still leading the area in rushing. Jimmy's a bigger back in my mind that can be explosive too, but they have kind of a power running game they use him out of that
Yeah.
spread. Tell me a little bit about your offense. I mean, I'm interested in how you guys balance it so well. I mean, you legitimately have one of the top offenses in the state because you run it and you throw it so well. Like I said, I think last week was a bit of an anomaly, but tell me about that balance, and maybe talk a little bit about that offensive line, because we've talked about that before. I'm so high on that group. I don't think you could do what you can without those guys being really good.
No, man, those guys up front, they make it go. They got 3 seniors up there, and Sean Williams at center, Sterling Garrett at the right tackle spot, and Landon Bissell at the right guard spot. So we depend on that O line heavily. Of course, we got Tristan and Hookfin, on the
Yeah,
left side. But without those guys, none of these numbers happen. I know they don't get the recognition all the time, but that's my favorite group of the offense, man. The offensive line. I like the way they work. Some junkyard dogs. We just have
yeah,
to be more consistent up front. Um, with the fundamental things, hands placement, and being downfield with some of the penalties, false starts, and just stuff like that. We have to clean up, and we've harped on that this week. As far as the skill guys, I mean, I just they
you're
just can
lucky,
play,
coach.
man. We want
Yeah,
to. We
yeah,
definitely want to run the football, man. I want to run the football. I want to establish the run, and everything else is pretty much predicated off that. So if we can establish the run, that's a great thing. The other thing I like about the team is if we don't run the football, we can still move it down the field. We have 4 legitimate, passing targets,
hmm
and Rose and Spence and Jeremiah Birdlow and Mike T. Even with Quan out of the backfield. And then the quarterback himself, he's a weapon just with the ball in his hands. That is, he's running it or throwing it. So the balance comes from, um, just understanding who we're playing and what we're trying to accomplish as a team. If, like I said too, if it gets one sided, it's probably for a reason. Um, and it's probably for our benefit if it happens that way. Like you said, versus
yeah,
Landon, I mean, Jones had 30 carries. you
hmm
know, versus some other games where less carries but a more balanced attack, passing and rushing. And then, like you said, versus Easton, out of necessity, we just threw the ball a bunch more. So, we definitely try to find that balance, man, formationally as well as, run pass. But I want to run the football. If we don't have to throw it,
yeah,
I don't want to throw it at all.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's just me. So I told Bonifaz run.
Well, look, and I'll say this, I get to cover everybody a lot, right? And I'm just as enamored with Salmon's offense and what they do. And defensively, they got some playmakers. They've got some guys in the secondary that can really make some plays. So you got to be careful putting the ball in the air anyway. But one thing that's hurt them a little bit, and it's hurt a lot of teams on the North Shore, is running quarterbacks, right? They've given up some yardage to some RPO concept stuff and some Russian stuff. So I know
Yeah.
that's probably your approach. I'm not giving away any secrets there. I think anybody that knows the game would know that. Lastly, Coach, and I don't want to skip ahead here. I think going into tonight, you guys have a tough schedule, right? I think you're set up now to make this little stretch run. If people don't know, you still got Chalmette at their place and North Shore. That's two really good football teams that have played really well. The thing that I'll tell you that I'm really excited about is the entire city of Slidell. I think tonight's going to be an amazing environment. It's going to be a packed house. I said this earlier in a post, but if somebody's in Slidell and they're not at the game tonight, you're missing out because
Yeah, man, that's what I think.
it's a popcorn game for sure. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shootout, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a low scoring game. Last thing I want to say, Coach, is good luck to you guys tonight. Thank you for coming on, especially on a game day. Taking the time to talk to us here. Any last thoughts for you guys going into tonight?
Now, man, we lost our parents, so we're gonna honor him tonight, man. So Robert Wright, his boys played on the team, and he passed away unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So, man, just thoughts and prayers for the boys and their family. But we're gonna honor him tonight, so we're looking forward to that.
Well, look, Coach, I'll say this. I don't think you have to do anything different because of it, right? I think the boys and what you've done and the culture that you've created there is special. I can say that about a lot of teams, but really proud of what you guys. I mean, you put Slidell back on the map, and people know who you are, and it's impressive. And I think it's kudos to you and the kids for kind of buying in. So, we appreciate that. I think it's great for the community as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man. Just exposing us, getting us out there, man, for the kids. It's big for the North Shore. I appreciate your words and thank you for having me.
Yeah, you got it, Coach. Well, look, best of luck tonight. I'll talk to you later this evening. I'll probably talk to you this weekend and get your thoughts on the games. But I appreciate it. You guys, big thing for me. Somebody's going to be 4-4, and I don't think it's indicative of a football team. I think you guys just stay healthy and keep grinding. I think y'all are both poised for making big runs here in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. Really do. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Have a good one.
All right, Matt.